Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Resist Trump, no wall, no ban. Protesters are currently occupying Baker Center. Good evening, I'm Mackenzie Pyatt. Thanks for joining us. Protesters are prepared to stay in Baker Center until the university meets demands of becoming a sanctuary campus. Demands include OU making a statement condemning the immigration ban and developing a plan to make the university a sanctuary campus. They also include adding immigration status as a protective class and not allowing concealed carry weapons on campus. Many of the people currently in Baker Center started protesting earlier this afternoon at the Athens County Courthouse. WOUB's Ann Jacob was there.
Muslim lives are under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. When queer rights are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When queer rights are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When environmental rights are under attack, what do we do?
As you can see behind me, there are nearly 200, maybe even 300 protesters out here right now protesting Donald Trump's immigration ban. If you look beyond me, you can see that there are protesters spilling into the streets. They've cut off the left turn lane on Court Street. However, there are police on scene and monitoring the event. Now, between the chanting, the protest organizers have also had people come up on the steps to talk about experiences and other issues going on right now that have been the problem since Donald Trump has been in office. That's all for here. Mackenzie, back to you.
Thanks, Ann, and we'll keep you updated with details about the protest on our website, woub.org, and our social media. Over 100,000 Ohioans stand to lose their Medicaid in the next year. That's if President Trump's full repeal of the Affordable Care Act isn't replaced. One proposed plan by the GOP mentioned by President Trump would distribute federal Medicaid funds through block grants rather than mandating what services would be offered. Daniel Skinner, assistant professor of health policy for Ohio University's Heritage College of Osteopathic Medicine, explains why this may make things difficult for Ohio.
Block grant would essentially shift the budgetary responsibility for figuring out how to use this one pool of money to the governor, to state policymakers. Those hard choices would be very hard for some states, especially states like Ohio that rank so high on things like opioid addiction or other kinds of health indicators that distinguish us in a bad way.
Governor John Kasich has been lobbying Congress for individuals to keep their Medicaid coverage. Today, women all around the world are celebrating Hijab Day. Students and faculty at Ohio University also took part in the global celebration. Newswatch's Arnold Vonda has that story.
Why do women wear the hijab? A thin towel to cover their hair. And how does it feel? To answer these questions, the Islamic Center organized an information stand in front of the Baker building. Muslims and non-Muslims were invited to wear the hijab and keep it for a whole day on their head. Turkish PhD student Habibi Temizo organized this promotion. She wanted to give women the chance to experience how people receive you when you wear a hijab.
Yeah, that is to let people know, to make them aware of how of our problems in society as hijabi women, because sometimes it can be very hard.
Temizo warns that while wearing the hijab, you might be discriminated against, and even if it's not with words or actions, you could feel it because of the way people look at you. One of those students who wanted to know how people would look at her is Tanya Maynard. The psychology student also has another motivation.
Mostly it's the current political climate, having attacks on Muslim women and men and the immigration ban. It's very un-American to me, so I want to show support for Muslim men and women in America. They deserve to be here as much as anyone else.
Lots of women attended the information stand and asked for one of the hijabs. Habibi Temizo was surprised how many Americans and non-Muslims were interested to experience the hijab and learn more about it. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Arnold Vonda.
Thanks, Arnold. The World Hijab Day started the first time in 2013. The motto this year was Better Awareness, Greater Understanding, and a Peaceful World. Local activists are continuing their fight for women's rights following the March on Washington. More than 160 participants wrote a total of 463 postcards to send to major political leaders around the state on Monday. Another similar event took place today. The organizers of the Athens Women's March on Washington Facebook group held the event. One of the organizers, Sherry Oliver, says yesterday's event was the first in a series of 10 actions.
Their whole idea was just that they knew, based on what happened on the 21st, that there was so much energy, kind of forming around this issue that it would help, once people left Washington or left Chillicothe or Columbus or Cincinnati, that they really wanted to move forward on things.
The remaining 9 actions will be spread out in the next few months with the goal of continuing women's rights.
From the Newswatch Weather Center, I'm forecaster Ethan Emery. And today was kind of a gloomy day, but that will change. Temperatures across the region right now are about 38 degrees with winds out of the west-southwest about 5 miles per hour. That dew point's at a dry 31 degrees, and that pressure is rising at 30.10 inches. Now tomorrow, we do have temperatures as a high around 33 degrees, with the clouds beginning to break in the afternoon, chilly air, and the winds will be out of the west at 5 to 8 miles per hour. And then for overnight tonight, we do have temperatures around 36 degrees by 8 p.m., 20% chance of a potential snow shower for our northern counties. And then by midnight, 33 degrees. And then by 4 a.m., 28 degrees with the clouds beginning to break with partly cloudy skies. And then for tomorrow morning, your low will probably be around 26 degrees here in Athens.
A new tax could be coming to the Buckeye State. Governor Kasich and other leaders are discussing their top priorities at a forum today. Kasich included a 17% income tax cut proposal and tax hikes on alcohol, tobacco products, and gas drilling. The $66.9 billion proposal also would impose a 0.5% increase in the state sales tax from 5.75% to 6.25%. Lawmakers have also agreed to make fighting Ohio's drug epidemic a priority. More services for hospitalized victims of violent crimes. Ohio's Attorney General is providing $2.6 million in grants to create 5 trauma recovery centers. Funding will be split among organizations in Cincinnati, Columbus, Springfield, and Cleveland. The trauma recovery centers will provide support for patients who've been victims of shootings, sexual assault, human trafficking, or hate crimes. Kentucky's governor wants to give former criminals a fair chance. Governor Matt Bevin signed an executive order to remove the box on state job application forms that are about criminal records. He said backgrounds can still be done and applicants can still be asked about their criminal records.
Let us do what we can to restore the opportunity, level the playing field, and create new chances for people who have made mistakes, paid their dues, and want to mainstream back into society.
Now, this does not apply to the private sector, but Bevin is urging private sector employees to consider taking the same action. Amazon is continuing to expand in the Midwest. Amazon will open a $1.5 billion cargo hub at Cincinnati Northern Kentucky International Airport. The deal was approved late Tuesday afternoon. Officials say the hub will serve as a centralized location for the online retailer's growing fleet of prime air cargo planes. The deal is expected to create 2,700 new jobs for the area.
With a company that's so forward-thinking and forward-leaning as Amazon, right, that's so innovative, who knows what the future will hold and how this could grow and what tangential benefits may result for not only the airport, for the community as a whole.
Amazon is no stranger to Kentucky. The company has employed more than 10,000 people across the state. After the break, Democrats are blocking key Trump nominees. We'll tell you about the conflicts in Congress. President Trump has made his first nomination to the U.S. Supreme Court. We'll tell you all about it after the break.
University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous. Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, this is it. And she said, the tour's just started. I said, no, you don't understand. This is it.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Eric III, the host of Hardwood Heroes. You should watch our program Sundays at 11 o'clock p.m. Any important and relevant information you need about Southeast Ohio high school basketball, we have. During the week, keep up with our online content at woub.org/heroes. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Hardwood Heroes. You can follow your boy as well at junior_3. As always, I'm Eric III, reminding you to be heroic.
President Donald Trump doesn't want senators to fight over his pick for the Supreme Court. Instead, he's advocating for Senate Republicans to do something that could potentially force Democrats out of the process. Mary Maloney explains.
Supreme Court nominee Neil Gorsuch made the rounds on Capitol Hill, meeting with senators who could decide his fate.
I don't know how anybody can oppose him.
As this process now moves to the Senate, I look forward with speaking with members from both sides of the aisle.
But a battle is brewing to fill the seat left vacant by the late Justice Antonin Scalia. Democrats vow a confirmation fight after President Obama's nominee Merrick Garland was blocked for 10 months, and some Republican leaders refused to even meet with him.
If I conclude that he is out of the mainstream on issues like privacy rights, including women's health care and Roe v. Wade, or workers and consumer protection, I will use every tool at my disposal to block his nomination.
To prevent his nominee from being blocked by a filibuster, President Trump says Senate Republicans should invoke the so-called nuclear option.
But if we end up with that gridlock, I would say, if you can, Mitch, go nuclear, because that would be an absolute shame if a man of this quality was caught up in the web.
Going nuclear ends the need for nominees to get 60 votes. Instead, the nomination would be decided by a majority vote, something Republicans have in the Senate.
We Democrats will insist on a rigorous but fair process. There will be 60 votes for confirmation. It is the right thing to do.
I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
Judge Gorsuch says his first call after being nominated to the high court was to Judge Merrick Garland, who never received a hearing or vote in the GOP-controlled Senate, something Democrats may bring up when debating Gorsuch's confirmation. Senate Democrats are boycotting a committee vote on two of President Trump's cabinet nominees. As Manu Raju reports, the surprise move is drawing fury from Republicans across the aisle.
Tensions are erupting in the Senate as Democrats are delaying confirmation votes for President Donald Trump's cabinet.
Well, they are idiots.
Hatch's complaints came after Democrats suddenly boycotted a Senate Finance Committee vote on two of Trump's nominees, Congressman Tom Price to lead the Health and Human Services Department, and Stephen Mnuchin as Secretary of Treasury.
Anybody would do something like that, it's just a complete breach of decorum. It's a complete breach of committee rules. It's a complete breach of just getting along around here.
Democrats complained that the two men misled the committee in sworn testimony, demanding more answers.
Our Republican colleagues are trying to rush these through. You know, advise and consent doesn't mean ram the nominees through. Now, I know why they want to do it. These nominees are not what Donald Trump promised and not what represents American middle-class values.
Trump has also called for quick action to confirm Senator Jeff Sessions as Attorney General. But Democrats delayed the committee vote until Wednesday, pushing back a final confirmation until week's end. This after Democrats dragged out for another day the confirmation vote of Rex Tillerson as Secretary of State.
Thanks for that question.
While warning they'll do the same for other controversial nominees, including Betsy DeVos to lead the Education Department. But even though DeVos won committee approval Tuesday on a party line vote, some Republicans are warning they may not support her nomination on the floor because of her shaky testimony.
She has not yet earned my full support, and when each of us have the opportunity to vote aye or nay on the floor, I would not advise that she yet count on my vote.
Betsy DeVos is also facing new questions about her written answers submitted to the Senate committee. Some say she appears to have lifted quotes in her answers. On Wall Street today, stocks ignored news from the Federal Reserve and Apple and remained unchanged. Here's a look at stocks of local interest. When we come back, how Canadian leaders are dealing with the Quebec shooting aftermath. That story's still ahead.
And coming up, clouds will be coming in tonight, but sunshine returns for tomorrow. Along with that, we do have cold air. More on that after the break.
Professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open. You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us. Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
The student body here at Ohio University absolutely is a family.
The students support one another.
You become this unit, this big, friendly family unit.
There's this connectedness.
You feel a part of something.
Driving in on the highway and just seeing the red bricks and the trees again, it's just like coming back home.
There's great students, great professors.
You just walk around campus and think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I go here.
I feel like I matter in the community, and I feel like I matter here at Ohio University.
It's home. Athens is home.
From the Newswatch Weather Center, I'm forecaster Ethan Emery. Right now, temperatures are around 38 degrees with those winds out of the west-southwest around 5 miles per hour. And then that pressure is beginning to rise around 30.10 inches. And across the region right now, we do have temperatures around the same with around the mid to upper 30s and a few 40s in places around the Ohio River. But overall, the temperatures are around steady for the last couple hours. And that's due to the cloud cover that's in right now. And that's also what's kept the temperatures today around 40 degrees for a high and 35 for a low. Now, that's around normal, but way off from the record.
which 64 was their high record back in 2002. And in 2004, negative 11 was the low record. We're far from that, and thank goodness we are. Now, the hour-by-hour temperatures for this overnight tonight, we have around 36 degrees by 8 p.m. There's still a chance for some snow showers or snow flurries in the northern counties, but overall, we're going to see dry conditions. And then by midnight, 33, and then by 4 a.m., temperatures around 28 degrees with those clouds beginning to diminish. Now, the lows tonight will be around 26 for Athens with mostly cloudy skies. Cooler temperatures will be arriving without those winds out of the west-southwest at about 3 to 8 miles per hour, give or take. And for overnight tonight, those temperatures will be chilly, around the mid to lower 20s for most places. We have 24 here in Columbus, 25 here in Lexington, and around 30 degrees in Ironton. And as we go ahead and look at the PRECIPCAST, this is all in part to this cold front that's kind of stalled up here in the Great Lakes, and then there's a low pressure down here around the Smoky Mountains, and that's what's caused some of the precipitation today. But tomorrow, we do see some clearing because there's high pressure way out in the west, which is going to push those winds in. It's going to feel chilly, but it's still going to be clear and not too bad for a day. Now, the bus stop tomorrow, temperatures will be chilly, so please grab a jacket. Mostly cloudy skies, 26 degrees is a morning low. And as we go through the day tomorrow, we do see temperatures just kind of not even reaching very high. 27 at 8 a.m., 29 at noon, and 32 at 4 o'clock as those clouds begin to diminish. And those clouds will be decreasing throughout the day, and we could see some clearing by the evening hours. 33 is a high for tomorrow in Athens, with that chilly air with the winds out of the west at 5 to 8 miles per hour. And then temperatures for tomorrow for the area, we're going to see probably the around 30 degree mark. So forecast, Thursday 33, Friday 31, Saturday and Sunday, it's going to increase, but there's a chance of precipitation on Sunday. And then for the week next week, it's back to warm air. Back to you, Mackenzie.
Thanks, Ethan. Canadian leaders came together to condemn the shooting at a Quebec mosque that left 6 people dead Sunday. Members of Parliament crossed party lines in a show of solidarity for victims of the attack, and they weren't alone. Other world leaders also offered support. Mercedes Stevenson has the story.
Shock and sadness on Parliament Hill today, but also determination and unity as political leaders came together across partisan lines to condemn the brutal attack on a Quebec City mosque.
Make no mistake, this was a terrorist attack. It was an attack on our most intrinsic and cherished values as Canadians, values of openness, diversity, and freedom of religion.
This attack offers another sad reminder that our country is not immune to terrorism, and it demonstrates that we must always be vigilant against this threat.
To our Muslim brothers and sisters, we mourn with you, we pray with you, and we promise that we will stand united and fight against the forces of hatred, bigotry, and Islamophobia, and against those who peddle the politics of fear and division.
And a call for Canadians to show solidarity.
Last night's horrible crime against the Muslim community was an act of terror committed against Canada and against all Canadians. We will grieve with you, we will defend you, we will love you, and we will stand with you.
Reaction to the shooting has poured in from around the world. President Donald Trump called Prime Minister Trudeau this morning.
The president offered his condolences as well as his thoughts and prayers to the victims and their family and to all Canadians. This is another senseless act of violence that cannot be tolerated.
Global leaders reached out to Canada on social media, including New York Mayor Bill de Blasio, the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, and former U.S. Ambassador to Canada, Bruce Heyman. Prime Minister Trudeau is traveling to Quebec City today, flanked by Conservative leader Rona Ambrose and NDP leader Tom Mulcair. The Prime Minister will visit the mosque and speak at a vigil for victims later tonight. Mercedes Stevenson, CTV News, Ottawa.
Authorities in Canada have charged Alexandre Bissonnette, a French-Canadian university student, in the shooting that killed 6 people. He faces 6 counts of first-degree murder and 5 of attempted murder. Bissonnette could also face terrorism charges after more evidence is uncovered.
How's it going, everyone? I'm Clark Woolley. Today in sports, we'll look at how Ohio men's basketball suffered yet another heartbreaking loss last night this time at the hands of Western Michigan. Plus, there was plenty of TVC action on tap last night. Trimble Tomcats hosted the Waterford Wildcats, and Meigs High School played host to a doubleheader. We'll look at those games next on Newswatch. Stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Eric III, the host of Hardwood Heroes. You should watch our program Sundays at 11 o'clock p.m. Any important and relevant information you need about Southeast Ohio high school basketball, we have. During the week, keep up with our online content at woub.org/heroes. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Hardwood Heroes. You can follow your boy as well at junior_3. As always, I'm Eric III, reminding you to be heroic.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us. I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Of the game. Welcome back, I'm Clark Woolley. It was a tough loss for the Ohio men's basketball team last night as they fell at the hands of Western Michigan 90-85. The Bobcats trailed for less than a minute of the game, but unfortunately for Ohio, it happened to be the last one. Ohio at one point had a 21-point advantage that ultimately slipped through their fingers. The Bobcats had 4 players in double figures, led by freshman Jason Carter, who scored a team-high 21 points. Ohio has lost its last 2 games and hopes to bounce back as they host MAC powerhouse Akron on Saturday. Ohio women's basketball will be in action tonight as they travel to face Central Michigan in a game with huge conference implications. The Bobcats, who have won 4 games in a row, sit on top of the MAC East Division and could distance themselves from second-place Buffalo with a win. The last time these 2 teams squared off, Kiana Black scored 39 points to lead the Bobcats to an 86-84 overtime win. Ohio will have to stop Presley Hudson, who is averaging an incredible 36.5 points per game and collecting just over 3 rebounds. Now, it was a doubleheader out in Pomeroy last night as Athens traveled to Meigs High School for what lived up to be an exciting night of boys and girls hoops. The girls kicked things off as the Lady Marauders used a dominant performance from Cassidy Betzing and Devin Humphreys to ultimately defeat the Lady Bulldogs 60-38. The boys would immediately follow the girls' game, and that would be one that would see Athens on top by a score of 75-63. Dalton Cozart led the Bulldogs as he scored 6 of his 14 points in the concluding moments of the game. Griffin Lutz added a team-high 19 points for Athens. I'm Clark Woolley, and that's it for sports. Over to you in weather.
Thank you. Now, the 7-day forecast looks like this. Thursday, 33, a low about 19 on Thursday night into Friday. And then over the weekend, a chance of some rain and snow, and then a warm start to next week. Back to you, Mackenzie.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Mackenzie Pyatt. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org.